Hi everyone, Dawn Fisher of Morning Glory Needleworks. Welcome to my 61st FlossTube video. As always, thank you to everybody who subscribed, commented, liked my channel. I really appreciate it. I've gotten a few more viewers. If you hear any noise, we are having a storm, so there's like thunder going on in the background. So that's what the rumbling is. It had stopped, but of course, now that I'm recording, it started back up again. So as always, links are listed in the description below the video, wherever it's at on your screen. You just probably have to expand it, go down to the bottom of the description, and all the links are posted there. And there will be a few links this time of things you may want to look up. I hope you will. So also there's links to Morning Glory Needleworks Etsy shop, Instagram, Stitch of the Month, which you'll need because it is the first of the month and we do have a new stitch. The Morning Glory Needleworks Facebook page, buy me a coffee in case you'd like to contribute a little money to help me along, not required, and whatever else I'm talking about. So it's the 1st of July, 2024, and let's get going. So quick life update. I know I talk about it a lot, but I'm still working on unpacking and setting up my condo and office. I'm getting some stuff done, but it is a lot. It's fun because some pieces of furniture I used in certain rooms, all of a sudden, they don't fit in that room anymore, that where they were in my house, they don't work in my condo. So the these pieces are finding their homes. So it's kind of cool when I walk by something and then all of a sudden go, oh my goodness, that can fit right there. So that's kind of fun. The next big project I have, well, it's not big, but the next project is I'm going to get some little repairs done. There's a few electrical things. But the biggest one for me is my new kitchen sink. I am so excited. My sink is not in good shape. I knew that when I bought it. I did get some extra money so I could repair stuff back from the cellar. So the faucet leaks when you turn the water on. The sprayer hose won't come out. You know, it's old. It's just ugly. It's white. But I tried to scrub it, sprinkle the Comet, let it sit, scrub it, and realize some of the things that I thought were stains in the bottom of this, what I thought was like a regular, whatever they are, cast iron, white ceramic, whatever, sink. And actually the spots are actually where the previous owner set a hot pan and melted places in the sink. So it must be the sink is fiberglass. I never even thought about it because I've never had one before. And it was probably inexpensive. So I am getting that replaced because it's not savable. So I'm looking forward to, I already have my new sink. It's sitting in a box in my living room, along with my new garbage disposal. So I splurged. I got the big double stainless steel sink, which will fit exactly in my spot. It came with the faucet, the pull down faucet, which is what I had in my last house, and I loved it. I got a sink with extras. The handyman guy that's going to do the work for me, he used to work on my house at the other place. Because I have very little counter space, like about this much, and then the stovetop, that's it. He suggested getting a sink with the racks and a cutting board you can set in it. So I went ahead and ordered one that had all that stuff. Figured this is the only sink I'm probably ever going to buy for this place. I may as well get what I want. So it came with the faucet and the all the other racks and things. So I'm so excited about that. I can't wait to get my new sink. And it wasn't as much as I thought it was gonna be, and then plus it was $100. So yay me. So it's supposed to be installed Tuesday. So keep your fingers crossed that everything goes as planned. It should fit. We measured it and all that. So anyway, that's what's going on here. I try not to bore you too much with all my moving stuff, but that's kind of my life, and it's probably going to be my life for a while. Now, I want to move on to last time I showed a little project I was working on. It was this one, and it's the doorbell spell. It says protect my home bell on the door. So because I have 2 doors, I decided I want 2. So I stitched another one. The colors are a little bit different. They're a little bit darker, and I really like them. So here's my second one. You can see the letters stand out more. So I'll probably hang this on the front door. Now the front door, I can actually hang it on the outside of the door. So it's facing out because I have a very nice screen storm door. So it won't be exposed to the weather and that. It's actually covered. So I'll probably hang this one there just because I like it better. Now the other one, I think I'm going to hang it because my other door does not have a screen door. It's just, it's weird. I think all the condos are the same here. They have to have 2 doors. So the second door actually goes into my second bedroom or my spare bedroom, whatever, which is kind of strange, but it's okay. So it won't be used much. But so I'm going to hang that on the inside of that door. So these are my 2, and I showed last time. I don't know if I have it in my little bag here. No, I don't. But I bought a little round thing, and I'm going to make it into a pillow and attach it to this little round. It's like vines circle, and then hang the bells off of it. So this is the little bags that the bells came in. So one of them is going to have the bells with the white ribbon, and one's going to have the bells with the black ribbon. Well, I talked about this in my last video, and when I was putting this stuff away, I realized it came with this wonderful bag. I mean, it's nothing special. It's just a little canvas drawstring bag, but I have a little project that I sell, a little kit that I sell, where you stitch it on a bag, and you stitch it and attach it to a bag. So that's what I'm thinking about doing, filling this bag probably with maybe some lavender or some other things. And then I'm just gonna take this and stitch it on the bag and trim it down so it's stitched directly on the bag. I'm trying to make this small enough so you can kind of get the idea of what I'm going to do. And then I had bought some plastic lavender flowers, and I'll probably stick a few out of the top of this. I have another set of bells, so I will hang them, but won't that be cute? And then I'll just hang this bag on a hook on the door, and this will be attached directly to it. And of course the bag will be poofy. There'll be flowers coming out of the top. So that's, I'm hoping to get that finished soon here. Famous last words. Keep finding other things to work on. So that's what I'm working on. I actually bought a couple little projects. I need to get working on my own stuff, but my brain is still kind of discombobulated. So it's fun to work on nice, simple projects like that I don't have to think too much about. Other than on that one, I did pick my own fabric and floss and all that, and I just picked colors I liked. So, and of course, when you're moving, I've talked about this a lot. I find things, and so I'm sorting through boxes, and I'm finding different things. So I found this box, and I opened it up, and I was happy to see what was in it because I wasn't sure where they had gotten packed away. But I got this quite a few years ago from my mother, for Christmas, and she was going through stuff. And these are things that my grandmother made. Now, my grandmother crocheted. She did embroidery, not a lot. She did a lot of crochet. She did a lot of sewing. She made the most wonderful Barbie doll clothes. I don't know if I could do it, because they're tiny, but they were beautiful. And she would sell them, at garage sales or wherever, sell them to people. So, but these, I found, I'm not sure where it's at. It's a little crocheted lion. I'm hoping when I find it, I will bring it out and show you. I found it when I was moving, but it got, who knows, got set somewhere. So anyway, I wanted to show these few little things. This is a handkerchief. It has, I was hoping it would have some initials, but it doesn't have any initials. Of course, it looks like it was never used, thank goodness. But you can see she's hem stitched the edging. It's got like drawn thread and then very fine hem stitching on it. It's pretty amazing. So I could probably embroider something on this, and I may still do that, but it's just fun, to find this little stuff. And then this, like I said, she crocheted a lot. Now this probably was meant to have starch, maybe, to make the ruffly edge stand up. You know how they used to starch them, or still do, to make them stiff. But this is a really pretty crocheted doily. I'm hoping I can find somewhere to put it in my new condo. It's just fun, pretty stuff. And then this is fun. I love this. Again, I'm gonna have to find somewhere to put it. This is more along my line here. I remember when I used to go stay with her a lot when I was little. All of us kids did. And I was probably around 8, and she tried to teach me to crochet on the edge of a handkerchief. No, it would not go in my head how to crochet, and I wanted to learn, but oh well. I wish now I would have picked it up, but I didn't. But anyway, this is more what I do. Make sure this is front ways. I love doing this, the embroidery. It's hard to see. It's very light. This embroidered table runner. And then it's got a little picot crocheted edge on it. And there's a little decorative here in the center. You can see there's a few stains. So it was obviously used. Some little stains here. I have not tried to wash it. I doubt if they'll come out, because it's probably, it's been in there so long. Boy, my screen just got really dark. I don't know what that was. Maybe it's because it's so dark outside. But anyway, so this is a very nice, nice size table runner. What do you call it? Dresser scarf. So I may put that on my dresser in my bedroom. Just have to keep the cats off of it so it doesn't end up covered with cat hair. Now this next one, I picked this many years ago out of her items she made. That I've gotten a couple times. Mom has let us go through stuff and pick something out. It's all been distributed now, I think, but and then she gave me this other gift years later. But this I've had for quite a few years. And what I want to talk about something, because I don't want you to think that my grandmother, this is my Grandma Dexter, this is my mother's mother, and I don't want you to think that she was a Nazi, because this has the swastika crocheted into it, and it may have probably was even done before the war, the World War II. So this is a sweet little, see the little swastika here? This is a sweet little table, just a doily, a piece of linen, which is obviously, well, maybe it's fairly stained. And then it has this beautiful crochet on the edges. So I've known about the swastika for a long time. It's, I had to write, I was in an anthropology class in college, and I was like in my 40s, late 40s when I was 50 when I finally got my degree. But I did a little, we had to do like a presentation, and I did it on needlework through the ages. So, and one of the first pieces of needlework that was found had a swastika in it. So it's like the Germans took this wonderful symbol and turned it into something horrible. So I went and looked up just so I could give an, some information about swastikas and how they actually started. So I went to Wikipedia. There's a bunch of places you can go. I am providing you with the link to this if you want to go look it up, because it's very interesting. And they talk about like needlework pieces and other places, decorations with the swastikas on it. So the swastika is an ancient religious and cultural symbol predominantly found in various Eurasian cultures, as well as some African and American ones. In the Western world, it's more widely recognized, unfortunately, as a symbol of the German Nazi Party, who appropriated it from Asian culture starting in the early 20th century. Now, according to Joseph Campbell, the earliest known swastika is from 10,000 BCE. So it's old. And it's part of an intricate, it says it was part of an intricate meander pattern of joined up swastikas. This was not stitched. It was found on a late Paleolithic, if I said that right, I don't think I did. Anyway, figurine of a bird carved from mammoth ivory found in Mazin, Ukraine. It has been suggested that this swastika may be a stylized picture of a stork in flight. And as the carving was found near phallic objects, this may also support the idea that the pattern was a fertility symbol. That's not, I don't think that's why Grandma stitched it. Also, in the mountains of Iran, there are swastikas or spinning wheels inscribed on stone walls, which are estimated to be more than 7,000 years old. One instance in Khorashad, Berjan, is on the holy wall, Lak Mazar. I don't know if I'm saying those words correctly, and I'm sorry if I offended anybody with my mispronunciation. So in Christianity, this is where it probably came from with my grandmother, because she was very, very religious. So in Christianity, the swastika is used as a hooked version of the Christian cross, the symbol of Christ's victory over death. Some Christian churches built in the Romanesque and Gothic eras are decorated with swastikas carrying over earlier Roman designs. Swastikas are predominantly displayed in a mosaic in the Saint Sophia Church of Kiev, Ukraine, dating from the 12th century. They also appear on a repeating ornament motif on a tomb in the Basilica of St. Ambrose in Milan. So if you see a swastika on embroidery, chances are it has nothing to do with Nazis. I know I saw when I was at one of the big antique shows outside, there was a woman that had an antique or an old quilt for sale, and it had swastikas on it. And a woman had come up to her and started yelling at her for having Nazis, stuff. And it's not necessarily Nazi, especially on a quilt. It may be a sign of what they call the Christian cross, a hooked version of the Christian cross. So if you see a swastika, don't automatically assume it is related to Nazism. Now, if you see it on a big red flag, yeah. But anything like this is not. So I just not only I wanted to share my grandmother's wonderful stitching and embroidery, I wanted to share the history of the swastika because not everybody knows that. I did know it because I had done research before, but if you don't know, you don't know. So don't assume anything. So now I have more exciting news. That was fun showing Grandma's stuff. I'm sure she would have appreciated it. I'm very excited to announce I'm going to be teaching my new class, Spool of Stitches, for Stitcher's Hideaway this October 2024. And the class will be October 7th to 8th at the Public House in Sturbridge, Massachusetts. So if you've never been to a Stitcher's Hideaway retreat, you are missing out. They're so much fun. They're so relaxed. The food is always fabulous, especially at Public House. She has a couple there every year, and it's a colonial type inn, and the food is just delicious, and there's so much of it, but it's so yummy. Also, there's lots of goodies. There's door prizes, plus the World in Stitches. Randy brings most of her shop in for stash enhancements, so you won't miss out on anything. So the retreat will be held at Public House in Sturbridge, Massachusetts, which is an historic inn. And I checked some stuff out because that's what I do. And there's beautiful elm trees around the Public House. And they were actually planted by Colonel Ebenezer Crafts in 1791, which is about the year the main building was built. So it's very old, very historic, and they've kept the atmosphere. And that's where the classes are. And there's a big, huge room, and the store is in there, the classes are in there, there's show and tell. It's just so much fun, just relaxed and fun. So and you have a choice. Now the fee, the registration fee does not include your room. It does include lunch and dinner every day, plus the bakery there at the Public House has free coffee and rolls in the morning, and the little cinnamon rolls are just yummy. They have other stuff too, but so you can have free coffee and rolls every morning. And if you want something else, they have really yummy desserts, breads, cakes, all sorts of stuff. So you can stay in the historic part of the inn that doesn't have a lot of rooms, and it's historic, it's old. There's stairs, there's no elevators. So, you'll have to bring your suitcase or whatever upstairs. So, but they also have new buildings that they built around, which are really nice. I think I've stayed in all of them, that are really nice. Those have elevators. Those have beautiful sitting rooms with fireplaces where people sit and stitch the night before. And the rooms are just really, really nice. Then they also have an older inn. It's called the Motor Lodge, I think. And it's kind of probably from the, I don't know, 50s, 60s. So it's older, but it's clean. It's nice. I've stayed there. The rooms are a little bit less expensive. They're not as close to the main building, but you don't have to drive. You can just walk. They're up on a little hill, and then you can walk down to the main building. So I'd love to go. I went, I think it was last year. I don't know. She has just some open retreats too, and they're just so much fun and relaxing. So I wanted to show you, I've showed it before, but I want to show the piece I'll be teaching. And so this is, I actually still have to finish the end. I'm trying to decide how to finish the end, but this is Spool of Stitches. Now the kit will include this this banding with the finished edge. I think it's a 25 or 27 count linen band. And like I said, it's pre-finished, so you don't have to do anything. It only comes in green, so that's what we'll have. It also comes with these beautiful handmade spools. It took me a long time to find somebody that's not. I ordered a couple from her. So it comes with this beautiful hand-turned spool. So everybody will get a spool. You'll get a yard of this fabric, which is way more than enough. So if you want to add anything else to it, I like to give some extras. So, and this is kind of like my alphabet of stitches. You know, I love the stitches. So every letter, there's a stitch that corresponds with the letter, like Algerian I, what is this? I don't remember what they all are. This is captive rice. So it's like that, every stitch. And then there's 4 different stitches for the letters. You could do them in cross stitch if you want, but there's like rice over 2, mosaic, eyelet over 2. So they're tiny. But like I said, you can do them in cross stitch if you want, and then you'll learn just this much of each stitch. So if you don't like the stitch, there's only that much of it. So this is, and it's a 2-day class, and you can see it's not very long, and these are small. So if you're like determined, you could probably finish this whole thing during class, or at least maybe work on the letters during the the night when we're not taking class. Class is only in the day, and then you have dinner, and then you have free time to stitch or shop or whatever you want to do. So this is a spool of stitches. And what I'm doing is offering 4 different colorways for it. So this one here is, this is called no, it's not that one. I have to figure out, oh, here's my directions. This is, so there's 4 different ones. This one's Garden Party, so it's fairly light. This is Petite's favorite there. This is the favorites, which is what the one I showed you is stitched using. This one is most popular colors. And I like these. It comes in this packet. These are silky 12-weight cotton petites. And you can order them this way from Silky, but you will get one whole packet of all this thread. And there will be plenty, because I stitched, I think it was this one. I stitched my whole sampler with this packet, plus I did another version of it with all the different colorways, because at the time when I stitched this, I hadn't decided, but I decided to give everybody their own, choice. This one is called, this is the favorite. That's the one I used on mine. This is Hawaiian here, kind of tropical colors, and they're much prettier in person. This is Popular, the popular colors. And then you also have a choice of Garden, which is kind of brighter colors. So that's what I'm going to be teaching, and I'm really, really excited about it. This will be the first time I'm teaching it, so get in on it. So again, this is the Hawaiian Tropics. Nice, bright, flowery colors. This one is most popular colors, it's called. It's hard to decide. And then this is the petites, or the favorites. That's what I did, the big one. And you can see there's a lot of thread left on these. And then this is a Garden Party, which is a little bit lighter colors, but very pretty. Most are what they call blendable or variegated. A few are solid. I'm looking, I don't know. Doesn't look like most of these have any solids. Most of these are blendables, but some are very subtle, so they're not hugely weird colors blended together. But anyway, so I've given you a link to the Stitchers Hideaway website and also a direct link to this class. So I'm hoping you will sign up. I'm going to finish this bottom and then probably put a ribbon so you can roll it up, because it does roll all the way up. It took me, I stitched this in 2021, and it took me a long time to find a spool that would work. So what I'm going to do is probably end it right about here and put a finished edge on it, put a ribbon on it so you can wrap it around and tie it shut. So that's how it will look. And it says spool of stitches and then the date. And then what I did, I added my name at the top. There's plenty of room if you want to add more stuff, if you want to put stitched at Stitchers Hideaway, that kind of stuff. If you've taken any of my classes, my directions are very, and I follow my own directions. So here's charts. It doesn't have, that's not the, these are my sample directions where I just put the stitches in. You will also get alphabet so you can finish it. And this has all my notes and stuff on it from when I stitch it. I put, you know, pull this tight, don't do this, that kind of stuff. Watch out for this, that kind of thing. So anyway, I hope you will sign up. Again, that's Stitchers Hideaway, Spool of Stitches. It's October 7th and 8th, which is a Monday and Tuesday. And she does weekdays because the weekends there are full. Sometimes they have 3 or 4 weddings in a weekend. They have a lot of weddings there at Public House. So if she has it during the week, the rates are much better. The room rates are better. Her rates to rent the big room and the food and all that kind of stuff, those are better. I'm rolling this one up, are better also. So that way it won't get, it doesn't get hugely expensive, but the food, the food is so good. And you get, you know, an entree and dessert, and it's a full meal. It's not some skimpy little burrito. It's like a full, they have this chicken pot pie, which is this huge bowl of chicken pot pie with a puff pastry crust. So anyway, that's enough about that. That's I'm really excited because I love teaching for Stitchers Hideaway. And the last time I taught her, I taught the button box. So anyway, that's the excitement for that. So I'm going to pause this just a minute and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Boy, it brightened up a little bit out there. It quit raining. So now it's time for Stitch of the Month, and I'm very excited because you're going to get a bonus stitch this month. This is one of my favorite stitches. I say that every time, I know, but I really enjoy this stitch. And I actually used it on the button box also. So if you took the button box class, you've got a little head start on this. So what we're going to do, the stitch is, you're going to be learning 2. The first one is zigzag chain, and then over top of the zigzag chain, we're going to be doing detached buttonhole stitch. And it's a lot of fun, and it looks complicated, but I've taught it quite a few times, and most people go, wow, that looks a lot harder than it really is, because it's really not that hard. So that's what we're going to be learning. And this will be available in the Stitch of the Month Facebook group as a PDF, along with the updated Stitch of the Month sampler that I do every month. I just added the extra row, and it just kind of lines. It doesn't show, of course, the fancy stitching. So my Stitch of the Month, I have them all This is 2022, 2023, and here's 2024. So I'm going to show this on the close-up camera, but it's a really pretty raised, fun, leafy stitch. And I also want to show you on the button box. If you can see it, this is it. I don't know why this keeps getting dark and light here. But it's kind of, this is 2 rows of it, and it's a very beautiful stitch, ruffly, curly stitch. I think it keeps, I don't know, I hope it's not for you guys, but I think it's to do with the background lighting, that it keeps, depending on how dark it is outside, it keeps getting light and dark in here. So what I'm gonna do, as always, I'm going to start with a little PowerPoint to go over, talk about the stitch. All the directions are written here. Of course, you get more detailed when you watch it, because I have more hints and things for stitching it. Besides that, I only have this much room to put instructions, so I have to kind of compress them. So let me go to the PowerPoint, and then I will demonstrate the stitch for you, both stitches, the zigzag chain and the detached buttonhole. Okay, so here we are. And these are the exact same drawings that are on your on this paper. I did not redraw the buttonhole chain down in the lower right-hand corner or the one in the upper right-hand corner, because my program is having problems, or my computer's having problems. So I'm having problems designing new stitches. So that's a whole nother story. So what we're going to do, first thing we're going to do is work the zigzag chain. And if you work the chain stitch, this is basically the same thing. So you're going to come up in the upper left corner, you're going to come up for 1, and you're going to go back down into the same hole. So and leave a large loop on the top of your fabric. Then you're going to count 4 threads to the right and 4 threads down, and come up at 3 and go into that loop. It will make more sense when I show it. Go into that loop and kind of pull it tight, and then again go back down into the same hole as step 3. So step 3 and 4 are in the same hole. So you go back down, pull your 1-2 step tight, and you can pull it fairly tight. It's kind of hard with chain. I want to also say, when you start this stitch, I started mine in the row above, because I used 2 very light colored fabrics, and I actually ran it underneath the back of the row above and kind of locked it in place. You could also start with an away waist knot, because when you're pulling this, you don't want to pull it so tight that you open up the holes, but you want it pulled tight so it doesn't come loose, because when you do the stitching over top of the chain, it's going to loosen up. So like I said, I put it in the row above and kind of ran it back and forth so it would not come loose. So back to the stitch. So I've come up at 3 and gone back down in 4. And again, your 1-2 loop, you're in that loop. So you're going to pull that tight. You're going to leave another loop. And then you're going to come up at 5, which is 4 threads up and 4 threads to the right. What I actually did was counted 8 threads over from step 1, 2. It was just easier. So you're going to come up at 5, pull your thread all the way up, go back into the same hole, and leave a loop. And you're just going to continue across the row doing these chain stitches. And then when you get to your last stitch, you're going to come up like you would for step 3 and just go down over one thread. It's probably going to be like you would be doing step 5, because I can see the last row actually ends at an up angle. So, and you just do a little tacking stitch, go down over 1 thread, that'll hold it in place. Again, when you end your threads, run them back and forth between another row. Little drink. Or make sure they're very well anchored in place. Now, this is what looks very confusing, but I swear it isn't. So you're gonna, now I changed colors. I started with 1225, which is a pale sulky pink. You can use any colors you want. Your bottom color, you can use the same color through the whole thing if you want. I like to use 2 different colors just to differentiate between the chain and the buttonhole stitch. I used a 1225, which is a pale pink. Now that's going to be pretty much fully covered when you're doing this detached chain over top of it. It will pretty much cover the chain stitch. So you're going to come up in the same hole. This looks like the diagram looks like you're coming up in a in with a tacking stitch, but you'd actually come up in the same hole as step 1. So you're going to come up in that hole. I would use a fairly long thread. What you may want to do, because you're going to work the bottom and then you're going to work the top, I would get enough thread to work the bottom and then another thread to work across the top. I'll explain that in a minute because I ran out kind of in the middle. So, and you can do that. It's not that hard to start over a new thread. So anyway, so you've come up in the same hole as 1. Now, from now on until you end the stitch, you're not going to go back through the linen. Everything is going to be worked on the chain stitch itself. See the diagram in the bottom right corner? That shows how it's just looped around the chain stitches. Those aren't zigzagged, but it's the same principle. So you're going to come up in the same hole as 1. You're going to leave kind of a loop. You can see in the upper right, the gray thread is what we're going to use for the buttonhole. So you're going to loop into the chain stitch, but make sure your needle is over top of the what you're going to use for the buttonhole stitch. You can kind of see it in the picture. So it's under the loop and over the thread, the buttonhole thread. So you're just going to continue doing that across the whole chain stitch. So you can see on the bottom there, you can see all the loops. Now you can make this as tight as you want. I think I did around 8 to 10 per chain. And you're just going to work across the bottom all the way across. So only the bottom side of each stitch. And then when you get to the end, I actually turned my fabric upside down and I worked it going the other way across the top. You can see on the bottom, on the lower right, that only one side is worked. Oh, another drink. I'm doing a lot of talking here. So as you work the stitches, you kind of want to pack them in there because you want to distort the thread itself, the stitches, and they'll get kind of ruffly and lacy as you can actually take your needle and push them tighter. Excuse me. So again, you want to pack them in there. And as you'll go, you'll figure out how tight you like them because it will kind of distort and it makes it look ruffly. It looks like flowers. You can do these in circles and it will look like a flower. So I'm going to demonstrate this now and I swear it will make sense when I demonstrate it. And because this is a video, you can watch it over and over and over. So hang on and I will demonstrate. Okay, so what I'm going to do this in 2 different colors. And I have a dark blue and then this kind of like a variegated blue, pink, purple color. So, and I want to show you, let me show you a close-up of this. So you can see, oops, if I get it in the camera, get it focused. These do not have to be perfect. See, they're going to be kind of twisted, and isn't that pretty? And I used a 1225, which is a pale pink, and then I used a 4102, which is called Spring Garden, and it's just all these beautiful spring colors. This is I use this color a lot. It's one of my favorite colors. So you can see how they're kind of curly and distorted. Like I said, this does not have to be perfect in any way. And it gives more detail when it's kind of distorted. So, or curled, or however you want to say it. So let's see if I can figure out where I'm at. Okay, right here. So I'm going to come up here. This will be step 1. I don't know why this does not want to focus. Is good. There, that's a little better. Okay, so that is step 1. I've come up. I'm going to go back in the exact same hole. That is step 2. Now, there's a couple ways to do chain stitch, but this is the way I do it. If you have a better way, go ahead and do it that way. So I'm going to count 4 threads to the right and 4 threads down, and I'm going to catch that loop. So I'm coming up, and I just kind of pull it. Again, you're going to want to pull this kind of tight. That's why you need to have your thread very caught up in another row, very tight. And so what I do, I just counted over 8 threads, 2, 6, 8, and I'm going to come up here again inside the loop. So that's step 5. And again, pull it fairly tight. It's going to end up loose, but it's going to loosen up as you work the other stitches. So I'm just going to do a couple of these so you can see how how this works, because the stitch takes a while. It's not that long, but it probably took me maybe an hour to do all that. But I also, I've done a lot of these. So from this, I'm going to count over 2, 4, 6, 8, and I'm going to come up in the loop again. Oops. Actually, I'm going to drop my needle. So 2, 6, 8, 8 over from step 3, 4. I'm going to come up in the hoop, or in the loop, I mean. So I'm just going to do like 4 of these. Of course, you would continue all the way across the row for however many the row you're working. So back through the loop. And then to end the row, just go down over 1 thread. And that will tack it in place. So you can see how these have kind of loosened up. So now we need to thread up with this other color. I hope it shows. It doesn't always show as well. Let me try and see if I can even zoom in a little bit. There we go. That's better. Okay, let me thread up here. Again, you can use whatever 2 colors you want, or you can use the same color for both. That may be easier, especially just on a practice piece. Okay, so you want to anchor your thread again really well. Strongly. There we go. Trying to get this more centered. Okay, so you're going to come up. Thread is really thick. Okay, you're going to come up in the same hole as your 1-2 stitch, and you can see why you want to have it anchored good. I just pulled my knot. So, okay, so I've come up in this hole. Now, remember, for the rest of your stitching, until you get back to the other end, you're not going to go down into the fabric. So you're going to just go underneath we're going to work the bottom side of all of these stitches. So you're going to go underneath that and over top of your buttonhole, your stitch, your thread you're using for buttonhole. And it's just, the first one's not going to look like much. It's just a little tie around it. And you're just going to continue doing that for as many as you need. So my thread is really long. You can see how it's kind of pulling. And also this is cotton, crochet cotton. So it's a lot looser, twisted than regular thread, but it works good for this. So you can see I've gone underneath this and over top of that. So you just pull it tight and you can kind of push it over to the side. So now there's like 3 stitches there. It's really, really, really tight. So again, yours won't have as many because this is huge. So you just keep working. You go underneath that and over top of that. It's kind of like it's a blanket stitch, buttonhole stitch. They did these a lot in antique samplers. Often they just did like straight rows across and then worked these over top of them. You can see how it's kind of curling already. And you can't hardly see the thread you're working over. See how pretty that looks? It's getting heavier. And you want to watch it because it will kind of twist up while you're working on it. But I just think this is one of the prettiest stitches, especially with a variegated thread. And you can see how much this thread is loosening up. Yours will not loosen up that much. Again, this is kind of a cheap cotton, crochet cotton. And I go through a lot of it, which is why because all this gets cut off and thrown away when I'm done. So I bought this cheap stuff. So just keep continuing to work across the row, but you can see how it's kind of distorting. And again, if you want to push it really tight and have it really curl, that's great. And obviously I work this in hand for the little sampler I'm doing. So I just did it. I did the chain stitch and then I could just sit and watch TV last night and work these stitches because there's no counting. Once you have your zigzags done, there's no counting. And it makes it easy. So I am actually going to move to the next one just because these take so many stitches. But isn't that pretty? It's kind of loose here, so you can really manipulate this. You can play with these threads, you can move around, but you can see, you can't see the dark blue thread at all. Now, I'm going to move to the next one. I'm going to work across the bottom. Now it's going to kind of distort, but when you're done, it will look, there it is. There's that. You can see it. You can see the zigzag, how it moves across, but it's going to look kind of distorted as you work the bottom part. So what I did, now you could go down here, take a tacking stitch and come back up, but I just continued starting on my second stitch. And as I'm working this, like I said, I worked it in hand and I use my fingers a lot to manipulate as I'm stitching. So to get the threads to go where you want them to go. So just keep, like I said, continue across the row. Here's a little thought. I even thought about doing this stitch over the whole zigzag. If you want to try that, go ahead. Instead of just going over one side, you could go over under both stitches and then over top. That would only make one side of the buttonhole, but it would be much thicker. So you can try it either way. I may try that someday. I have at least 1 or 2 antique samplers that have this stitch on them. So just continue across, working your way across. You can pull it a little bit tighter if you want. Like I said, you can hang on to it, manipulate it, use your needle. To really pack those stitches on there. Hi, Buster, I have a kitty visiting me. Buster just came in and meowed at me. The storm must be over with because he hates storms. He's a big giant boy kitty, but he's the most scariest cat. He's having a hard time here because people walk by I have a walkway in the front of my condo, and they walk in front of my windows, and he runs and hides whenever he sees somebody. The other cats, not so much. So you can see how it kind of, now this, like I said, this is not the best thread, but it's kind of distorting it. So there, see how this one's kind of curled? Now, I'm not going to go all the way to the end because this stitch does take a long time. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm gonna turn this around. Oops. Okay, so what I did, I actually turned this upside down because when I worked mine, I worked the bottom side first, and then I actually turned the piece upside down and started working on the other side when I got to the end and worked my way back. So this isn't the best because I'm working it from this, but what you can do here when you get to the end and you're going to start the other side, you can go down to kind of end it and then come up in one hole above it. I don't have this in the instructions. I don't always do it that way, but for one thing, this is very loose. So then now I'm just going to do the same thing, go underneath the chain stitch and over top of the buttonhole thread. And there's my first stitch. And then I'm just going to work my way across. I have a really long thread, so it's tangling on everything. Buster is out because it's time for their snack too, so they can tell time pretty good. Okay, so again, you're just going to continue across. So you can see, I'm doing the other side. This is going to be a lot more open than yours will be, unless you're working it on big plastic canvas with cotton thread. So again, just continue across. And I think you'll really like this. Like I said, it looks complicated, but it's really not, and it's kind of mindless other than watching it and make sure it's not tangled or twisting too much. And just continue across the row. And then when you get to the end, when you get all the way back to here, just go back down through the fabric and run your thread underneath some stitching in the back, or end it however you end your threads. So let me stop this and then I will wrap it up. Okay, so that's it for FlossTube 61. I hope you enjoyed all the information. I hope you enjoyed the stitch. Please try it. Let me know. Send pictures. You can always email me because my email is in the below the description also. So as always, I really appreciate everybody who's subscribed to my videos, watches, comments. I love to read the comments. I try to answer. I don't always see all of them, but so be sure to subscribe to be notified when the next video is posted. They are usually, unless there's something crazy going on, like moving, they're usually posted on the 1st and the 15th of the month. The 1st of the month is always has a new stitch for Stitch of the Month. So be sure to join the Stitch of the Month Facebook group to get the PDF files of the stitch and the sampler, and all the stitches I've done so far are on that Stitch of the Month group. So there's probably 30 of them. All these all these stitches because I love stitches. So let me know any stitches you would like to learn. I might be able to find it. I didn't show you any antique sewing items or samplers this time because I had all this other fun stuff. And as a reminder, all the links are posted. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you on the 15th of July. Whew, already.